first theory is the economic model of criminal behavior, the basic theory. So this theory is based on the idea that individuals are rational actors, so meaning they know the possible consequences or effects of their actions. And now if they perceive that the gain that they will get in committing the crime is much more bigger than doing legal acts, then there is a great possibility that they will do such crime. Another factor is if their chance of being caught and convicted is minimal, the punishment of the crime that they will commit is not that harsh, and there are more rewards in doing illegal compared to legal acts, it would also affect their rationalization. So next theory is Karl Marx theory. So in this theory, it viewed crime as a product of law enforcement policies resembling a labeling process theory, emphasizing the connection between criminality and the exploitation embedded in capitalism. So for example, young children working in mines and factories. So Marx criticized the dehumanization of workers in capitalist production, highlighting harsh conditions and unjust practices. So he identified two components in the mode of production. So we have the productive forces, so which compose of the such things as technology, energy resources, and material resources. And next one is the productive relations, which are the relationships that exist among the people producing goods and services. So the most important relationship in industrial culture is between the owners of the means of production. So we have the capitalist bourgeoisie and the people who do the actual labor, or the proletariat. So according to Marx, so the capitalist societies foster a rigid class structure with the bourgeoisie at the top, the proletariat as labor force, and a dependent fringe. So this dependent fringe are those people who are dependent to other people's, shall we say, kanang mga mamalimos. So they are those who are under this classification. So Marx asserted that capitalist class membership is determined by power to exploit others, not wealth or prestige. So even if you have the wealth or the money, as long as you don't have the power, then you don't have the capability to exploit others. So next theory is Friedrich Engels and William Bonger's theory. So Friedrich Engels' theory, according to this theory, crime is a result of social demoralization in a capitalist society. So workers are compelled to criminal acts due to harsh choices, and capitalist system transforms workers into animal-like beings. So for Friedrich Engels' theory, so it is being said that workers are demoralized by the capitalist society, and they are caught up in the process that leads them to crime and violence. So working people committed crime because their choice was a slow death of starvation or a speedy one at the hands of the law. So now the brutality of the capitalist system, he believed, turns workers into animal-like creatures out a will of their own. So they don't have any choice but to commit crime because of such deprivation that they've experienced. And for William Bonger's theory, so crime has social and not biological origins. So criminality reflects current morality, and legal system favors the ruling class. And proletariat and bourgeoisie are prone to crime. So in this, for Bonger's theory, proletariat are more likely to be recognized as criminals due to systemic discrimination and material deprivation. So they, shall we say because the legal system discriminates against the poor by defending the actions of the wealthy, and second of all, it is the proletariat who are deprived of the materials that are monopolized by the bourgeoisie. So in short, crimes are function of poverty. So next theories are the biopsychosocial theories of crime causation. So first, we have the biopsychosocial model of crime causation. So it is an integrated approach that considers the interplay of biological, psychological, and social factors in influencing criminal behavior. So the bio component examines aspects of biology affecting health, including brain changes, genetics, and organs, or shall we say the major or the functioning of major body organs such as the liver, the kidneys, or even the motor system. For example, so John met an accident, so that accident caused him to reduce movement in his arm. That may lead to psychological issues like depression or anxiety because he might doubt himself. That's why he may experience this depression or anxiety. Next is the psycho component. It focuses on psychological components such as thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. So let's say, for example, John's psychological changes like decreased self-esteem may result in behavioral shifts like avoiding certain situations or quitting his job. So next component is the social component. So it explores social factors influencing health, including interactions with others, cultural influences, and economic status. So a possible social factor for John could be his role in his household. So perhaps John's role as a new father, impacted by his injured arm, may trigger stress within his household, contributing to further biological or psychological problems. So this model recognizes the complex interdependence of these three components, offering a comprehensive understanding of criminal causation that goes beyond simplistic explanations. So that means if our biology can affect psychology, which can affect social well-being, which can further affect biology, and so on. So our biological component, psycho component, and social component are interconnected with each other. And the next theory is the moral insanity and criminal responsibility. So the first forensic psychiatrist in the United States, Isaac Ray, utilized psychiatric principles to analyze legal issues. So moral insanity pertains to or describes individuals appearing normal but having an issue in the brain's affective response regulation. So Ray raised a critical question whether or not these people could be held legally liable for offenses they did not commit intentionally. So, or can these individuals with such impairments may be held legally responsible for their actions when they commit crimes without intent? And then Henry Maudsley, a professor of English medical, put forth a detailed viewpoint asserting that criminal behavior could potentially function as a means for expressing immoral impulses. So according to Maudsley, so some individuals might be deemed insane or criminal based on the observer's standpoint. So he believed that for many, engaging in criminal acts served as an outlet for unsound tendencies, preventing them from going mad. So these insights from Isaac Ray and Henry Maudsley laid early foundations for understanding the complexities of criminal responsibility, blending psychiatric understanding with legal considerations. So next is the premenstrual syndrome. premenstrual syndrome triggers elevated levels of female sex hormones, influencing antisocial and aggressive behavior. So, Katharina Dorothea Dalton studies on English women revealed increased likelihood of suicide, aggression, and antisocial conduct before or during menstruation. So he pioneered the connection between PMS and criminal behavior. So here in the Philippines, Article 253 of the Revised Penal Code decriminalizes suicide, but aiding a woman with PMS in suicide can lead to legal consequences. So Diana Fishbane's study on selected studies on biology of antisocial behavior emphasizes the association between heightened female aggression and menstruation, suggesting a significant number of incarcerated females commit crimes during the premenstrual phase. So, additionally, a small percentage of women may be vulnerable to cyclical hormonal changes, increasing susceptibility to anxiety and hostility. So, these insights highlight the intersection of biology, psychology, and legal considerations in understanding the relationship between premenstrual syndrome and criminal behavior. Okay, next is the battered child syndrome. So this concept was coined by Dr. C. Henry Camping, and it is a crucial concept in child abuse recognition. So it defines a child with serious repeated injuries not caused accidentally. So evidence of the syndrome helps infer the abuser is likely someone regularly caring for the child. So this narrows down potential culprits in criminal proceedings, as isolated acts by strangers wouldn't result in a consistent pattern of injuries over time. So most likely, those people who are caring for the child are also the one suspected to inflict injury on the child. So according to the medical diagnosis, the battered child syndrome serves as a medical diagnosis indicating a child subjected to a pattern of serious and unexplained abuse. However, its consideration and legal context raises concerns about potential bias, as past injuries might be misconstrued as evidence of the defendant's prior bad acts. So, it might become a bias, especially if the offender would make this as his defense that he suffered battered child syndrome. That's why he acted like that. So past injuries, or it requires balance rather between medical diagnosis and legal implications. So next is the battered woman syndrome. So this was described by Lenore Walker, and it describes women trapped in or presently escaping violent relationships. So it is defined as a form of learned helplessness characterized by physical and psychological abuse. So this includes verbal degradation, social isolation, and economic control, leading to the degradation of the woman's self-esteem and moral personhood. So it describes a cycle of violence. So we have the tension building, violent incident, and honeymoon stage. So during the tension building, minor incidents escalate tension, leading to increased relationship strain. So diri magsugod sa mga grabing away to the point na muabot na dayon aning violent incident. So violent incident, this is the eruption of violence, often prompting police involvement or legal proceedings. And then next is the honeymoon stage. So this is when the abuser expresses remorse and love making promises to avoid violence, fostering hope for a better relationship. So, muna ni nga time nga ang laki, ang abuser, mangayo o pasaylo sa bayi, to the point na ang bayi muhatag o pasaylo, kay hoping that his partner will change, that he will not do it again. So, the cycle repeats with escalating violence, lengthening tension-building stages, and diminishing honeymoon stages. In extreme cases, the absence of loving contrition can lead to the woman leaving the abusive relationship. So the loving contrition, it pertains to the hopelessness, or shall we say, the forgiveness that the woman gives to the man. And then, in extreme cases, the absence of loving contrition, or shall we say, the woman as a victim of battery may kill her abuser, and the presence of battered woman syndrome can be presented in court. So if established by a psychiatrist during trial, it may lead to the woman being exempted from criminal liability. So next is postpartum stress syndrome and postpartum psychosis. So postpartum stress syndrome is an emotional reaction between baby blues and postpartum depression, affecting 20% of women. And then, unlike baby blues, postpartum stress syndrome lasts longer than 3 weeks and is characterized by pervasive sadness, because in baby blues, the woman may experience sadness and then happiness and then sadness. So this PPS lasts longer than 3 weeks, characterized by pervasive sadness seeping into a woman's life, and without interspersed periods of happiness. So puro ra feelings of sadness ang halos mabatian sa babae. And next is postpartum depression, or PPD. So this is a sudden severe condition that can occur without warning, and even in women who haven't experienced baby blues or postpartum stress syndrome. So it can follow a normal childbirth, leading to an emotional challenges for the mother. And then next is postpartum psychosis. So this is a rare and severe condition affecting 1 in 1,000 women within days after childbirth. So this PPP, it has a dramatic implication, potentially requiring short-term hospitalization. Unfortunately, in rare cases where timely treatment is lacking, harm to oneself or the child may occur. That's why it is very important that if a mother is currently experiencing postpartum psychosis, so it is very important for her to have immediate medical intervention, so that it would not worsen and it would not affect her and her baby, or it would not put her and her baby in danger. So signs of PPP include hearing voices or sounds. So when we say psychosis, that includes hallucinations and delusions. So he might, or she rather, might hear voices or sounds, thoughts of self-harm or harm to the baby, severe sleep deprivation, inability to care for oneself or the baby, and rapid unexplained weight loss. Understanding these conditions is crucial for timely identification and appropriate intervention. So next, we have the developmental theories of crime causation. So first, we have the life course theory. So it viewed criminality as not a single cause or underlying tendency, but influenced by various factors as individuals mature. So social, economic, and maladaptive personality traits, educational failure, and family relations can all influence criminal behavior, according to this theory. So transitions from adolescence to adulthood can lead to disruptions in this stage, potentially resulting in criminal behavior. So, as individuals navigate these transitions, external factors and life events play crucial roles in shaping their propensity for criminal activities. So, take for example, a female college student becomes pregnant in her third year. So, subsequently, her parents intervene, preventing her from continuing her education. So, after giving birth, her priorities shift towards socializing with friends rather than pursuing further education, relying on her parents to care for her child. So this example illustrates how disruptions in life stages can contribute to changes in behavior and priorities. Next is the latent trait theory. So, latent trait theory contrasts with life force theory, arguing people remain unchanging and criminal opportunities evolve. So, because according to this theory, or according to life force theory, people can change. So, here in latent trait theory, people do not change or remains unchanging. So, as individuals mature, opportunities for criminal behavior decrease. So, according to this theory, criminal behavior decrease and early social controls like effective parenting can diminish criminal propensity. So, central tenet of this theory is that the concept of a master trait present at birth, stable throughout life. So, encompassing aspects such as our personality, intelligence, and genetic makeup. So, this master trait is believed to be present at birth and remains stable and unchanging throughout a person's lifetime. So, however, some perspectives suggest that this trait might be subject to alteration, influence, or change based on subsequent experiences. So next theory is the interactional theory proposed by Terence Thornberry. So it presents age-graded perspective on crime. It argues criminal behavior onset due to decline in social bond during adolescence. So characterized by weakened attachment to parents, diminished commitment to school, and a faltering belief in conventional values. So, according to Thornberry, the initiation of a criminal career is facilitated by residing or shall we say initiation by living in deviant social environment. So this theory emphasizes that weak bonds contribute to the formation of friendships with deviant peers, leading individuals to become involved in delinquent activities. So this theory draws on the principle of social bond theory as articulated by Travis Hershey. So in this theory, it is being emphasized that social bonds are very important so that children, especially during their formative years, cannot be, or shall we say, dili sila mahulog nga mahimo silang badlungon, dili sila mahulog nga dito sila makabarkada sa mga badlungon para dili may influensyahan ang ilang behavior. So next theory is the age-graded theory. So this was developed by Robert J. Sampson and John Loeb. So it focuses on turning points in criminal careers that influence delinquent behavior stability. So even after an individual has engaged in chronic delinquency, so this theory suggests that children entering delinquent paths often face troubles at home and school while maintaining associations with deviant friends. So criminal behavior aligns with an individual's age, with pivotal turning points like marriage and career impacting crime time. So for instance, adolescents or those adolescents at risk for crime may lead conventional lives if they secure good jobs or success careers. So, even those with a history of legal issues might desist from crime if employers offer opportunities despite past records. So, furthermore, individuals who establish happy marriages and quality marital lives may cease criminal activities. And also, aging plays a role as older individuals may stop engaging in crime due to physical limitations, a phenomenon known as aging out process or resistance. So, nagkatigulang naman siya, nagkahina na siya, wala na siya energy para idagdagan, para iambak-ambak. So, mabot ang time, anak nga time, so mu-disease na siya to commit crime or muundang na siya because of this aging out process. So next is the social developmental model. So this was introduced by John G. Weiss, Richard Catalano, and J. David Hawkins. So this model focuses on factors influencing a child's development. So we have the key elements. First is risk of delinquent behavior. So children, especially in impoverished neighborhoods, face the risk of delinquent behavior. So to mitigate this risk, para magkamiyan ng mga risk, so children must develop and maintain pro-social bonds within the family through consistent positive feedback and praise. So pagkatabang kayo ng ang bata, gina-praise din mo siya kaysa gina-criticize so that mudako siya nga na ay attachment to his or her parents. And the second one is parental attachment. So strong family relationships and parental attachment significantly influence a child's lifelong behavior. So supportive homes contribute to conventional beliefs, commitment to education, and avoidance to delinquency. And the next is deviant exposure. Children unable to form pro-social bonds risk exposure to deviant attitudes and behavior. So, weakened ties to conventional institutions may lead them to perceive antisocial behavior as easy and rewarding. And the last is adolescent choices. Adolescents may form deep attachments to deviant peers, while those recognizing opportunities for pro-social behavior engage in conventional activities. So, in contrast, those recognizing opportunities for pro-social behavior engage in conventional activities and form attachments to like-minded individuals. So, this theory or this model, it considered parents as the first teachers, and then it emphasizes that commitment and attachment to conventional institutions, activities, and beliefs acts as insulation against delinquency-producing influences. So next is the general theory of crime. So this was introduced by Gottfredson and Hershey. It combines elements from biosocial, psychological, routine activities, and rational choice theories. So it emphasizes the separation of criminal offender and the act. So unlike traditional perspectives, this theory distinguishes between the criminal offender and the criminal act, emphasizing that individuals' propensity for criminal behavior. So it asserts crime as a rational and predictable outcome. So according to them, individuals engage in criminal activities when the perceived rewards outweigh the expected threats or pain. And it suggests deterrence through threat of punishment. So the theory posits that the threat of punishment serves as a deterrent to crime. So now, if individuals anticipate severe consequences, they are less likely to engage in criminal behavior. So it offers a multidimensional approach to criminal conduct. So it emphasizes the rational decision-making process underlying criminal acts and the importance of deterrence through punishment. So next is the differential as coercion theory. So this was developed by Mark Colvin, a master trait influencing behavioral choices. So coercion refers to the use of threat or force, use or threat of force, intimidation, or pressures. So early life perceptions of coercion begin through punitive forms of discipline and psychological coercion. So sources of coercion include interpersonal coercion. So these are the direct force from parents, peers, and law enforcement, and impersonal coercion, which pertains to the pressures beyond an individual's control. So we have the early life perceptions. He suggests that those negative commands, those critical remarks, teasing, humiliation, whining, yelling, and threats contribute to these perceptions. So this theory offers a lens through which to understand how various coercive elements impact individuals' choices and contribute to their criminal behavior. Next is the control balance theory. This was introduced by Charles Tittle as a criminological perspective. So there are two elements of control. So we have control subjected to others and control exercised over others. So the control subjected to others, so this represents the extent to which individuals are under the influence or control of external forces. So take for example, the woman is being controlled by her husband. And everything she do, so she must ask permission from her husband. And another is control exercise over others. So this signifies the degree to which individuals can exert control or influence over others. So on the example, so the husband has control over his wife. So the conformity arises when these elements are balanced. So however, imbalances in control lead to deviant and criminal behaviors. So according to Tito, both control deficit, so the lack of control, and excessive control contribute to increased deviance. A control imbalance becomes a potential trigger for criminal and deviant acts. So this theory provides nuanced understanding of how the dynamics of control, both external and internal, shape the individual's propensities for criminal behavior. So next are the theories on women offenders. So Adler's theory of masculinity. So it contributed to the development of masculinity theory in criminology. So it suggests women's increased involvement in crime due to the social movements and societal changes. The central premise of this theory is that female criminality is linked to masculine behavior. Empowered women engage in more serious violent crimes due to masculinity influence. So in this theory, it explains that those empowered women, so they are more likely to engage in violent or serious violent crimes than those non-empowered counterparts due to the influence of masculinity. So faces criticism. So this theory faces criticism for its perceived male-centered ideology. Next is the opportunity theory. So this suggests women's involvement in criminal activities increases with diverse opportunities. So the theory suggests that as women gain more opportunities, violent female offending decreases while property crime rates increase. So Simon emphasizes different dimensions of female criminality, including types and nature of crimes and the role of justice system. So she challenges the notion of gender-based differences in morality, asserting that biological characteristics are not relevant to criminal behavior. So her argument suggests that women's employment-related property crimes increase with access to the labor market as skilled workers and specialized positions. So a key point in Simon's argument is that most of those skilled workers, the women, access the labor market as skilled workers. So, and when they hold highly specialized positions, they engage in more employment-related property crimes. So, it is similar to men seizing opportunities. So, this nuanced perspective on female criminality challenges the traditional gender stereotypes and highlights the role of societal opportunities in shaping criminal behavior. Next is the marginalization theory. So this was proposed by Meadows, Chesney Lind, and Kathleen Daly, which suggests women's low salary, inadequate job opportunities, lower class positions, and family victimization contribute to their involvement in criminal activities. So when we say the marginalized, it means women are treated as insignificant and then, or shall we say, unimportant. So now women may resort to crime as a response to poverty and economic uncertainty. So in this theory, so we have the so-called pink-collar crime, which was expanded by Kathleen Daly, and then as a counterpart, so this pink-collar crime serves as a counterpart to white-collar crime. So it involves women in low to medium level office positions engaging in embezzlement, fraud, or theft. So the theory highlights how societal factors influence women's involvement in criminal behavior. So take for example, itong mga babae nga medyo ambitious, so they may find ways para lang makuha nila ilang gusto. That's why they may involve in such crime. Next is the critical feminist theory. So it rooted in an equal power dynamics between men and women. So it alleges origins of female criminality in male supremacy and control of female sexuality. So in this theory, it views women as a commodity like land or money. So ang mga babae, murara siya o bitawag nga property. So male exploitation catalyst female criminal behavior. Now, ang exploitation na gibuhat sa mga lalaki, ilang pag-take advantage against sa mga women, it acts as catalyst or it encourages female criminal behavior. It highlights societal structures perpetuating gender-based inequality and power imbalances. So now this power imbalances, it could contribute to criminal conduct among women. So next is the power control theory, which was proposed by John L. Hagan. So this theory suggests class influences delinquency and criminality. So in families characterized by egalitarian dynamics, where both spouses share similar positions of power at home, in the workplace, daughters experiencing a unique freedom stemming from reduced parental control. So notably, in such families, daughters exhibit low violating behaviors that parallel those of their brothers. So mostly, katong mga bata, mga women, or mga babae nga who belong to this kind of families we're in. Their mother is also working like their father. Shall we say, walay mabilin silang balay to guide them. So manang they are more likely to become brats or spoiled brats. So manang most of them might engage in such delinquency. So this theory highlights the impact of familial power structures on delinquent behavior. So power distribution within family unit influences likelihood of criminal activities. So next, we have the Sigmund Freud's theory of penis envy. So Sigmund Freud's theory of penis envy suggests that young girls experience feelings of deprivation and envy due to the perceived lack of penis. So according to Sigmund Freud, women are essentially considered men without penises. He proposed that during the psychosexual development of a child, each stage involves a sexual conflict that must be resolved for the child to achieve healthy adulthood. So, penis envy is a stage unique to female children, occurring when when a girl becomes aware of the anatomical differences between males and females. So, in this moment, after realizing the absence of a penis, a girl may develop sexual desires for boys and harbor blame towards her mother. So, in this theory of penis envy, so the child may blame he or her mother nga nung wala siya yung penis. So, he may also blame shall we say, her frustration or shall we say, ang iyahang pagkawalay penis sa iyahang mama to the point that he may harbor wishes for the death or disappearance of her mother. And that theory is the chivalry or paternalism theory. So this was introduced by Otto Pollack in A Criminality of Women, and it argues women are treated more leniently in patriarchal societies due to perceived biological inferiority. So women are treated like they cannot do this and this, so they sila pwedeng mo asa bugat kay wala sila kusog masama sa mga lalaki. So they are treated more leniently and they are like inferior. And then paternalism theory extends this idea, suggesting traditional women experience extreme leniency. So patriarchy in American society. So Franklin and Fern argue patriarchy manifests in gender wage differences and underrepresentation of women in politics and economics. So preconceived notions of women's effectiveness in leadership contribute to this discrimination. So mani nga sa unang panahon, ang mga babae is dili gyud pwede manarbaho, dili pwede mahimong leader because of such patriarchy nga dapat ang lalaki man may kusgan, so sila gyud dapat ang manguna, sila dapat ang mahimong leader. So female victimization, often rape and domestic violence, reinforces power disparities. So manang usually ang mga babae mao mabiktima sa rape, mo'y mabiktima sa domestic violence because of such discrimination, because of such inferiority or biological inferiority nga panglantaw sa mga lalaki sa mga babae.